विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Verse 47 प्राप्य पुण्यकृतान् लोकान् आत्मतत्त्वविचारतः शुचीनां श्रीमतां गेहे साभिलाषोऽभिजायते. So Vidyaranya, I think I will have to mute. So Vidyaranya talks about the possibility of obstacles when student inquires into Mahavakya. Obstacles are known and unknown. And when they are there, well, person understands Mahavakya clearly, possible. And therefore Jnanam should be there. But because of obstacle, student is resisting to accept this as a fact. So, well, he is not able to accept it that I am Brahman. He has understood Mahavakya still, or he has not understood Mahavakya, whatever. So, if it is not a fact for that student, then he doesn't have knowledge, we should say. It is called Jnana Abhasaha. It's an information. Many people may have information. 4 Mahavakyas belong to 4 Vedas, and each Mahavakya shows the equation between Jiva and Ishvara with the help of Bhagatyaga Lakshana. What is Bhagatyaga Lakshana? And all that thing, and then example of the Bhagatyaga Lakshana. And that applies here in the Jiva Brahma Viveka also, in Aikya also. And to do that, well, a portion of that from both this direct meaning of this Jiva and Ishvara has to be removed, because it is ultimately Mithya, it is only Upadhi. And all these things, 1 hour lecture without seeing notes. But, well, okay, then you are Brahman, you are free. No. I told you about a professor, right? We used to come to our ashram also in Coimbatore. So anyway, so this is how it is. So basically means then definitely you accept it yourself as just a mumukshu, and moksha will be a goal in your life. Means your mindset has not changed. That is the thing. So you definitely look upon moksha as a goal. You look upon yourself as a mumukshu, etc. And so therefore, well, if he has the so-called knowledge of Mahavakya, etc., still it is called a Jnana Bhasaha, and or otherwise Samvadi Brahma. Yeah. And the student has to repeat that Jnana Bhasa, Vritti. Jnanabhasa vritti avritti. That is to be done, which we call it as a Nirguna Brahma Upasana, Aham Brahmasmi, etc. And then the obstacle may go in this janma, maybe go in the next janma, it may go in the next janma, any janma. But definitely consolation is, if he does not get jnanam in this janma, well, in next janmas, so he will be in a better position. That's for sure. He will be definitely on a next ladder. Anyway, so well, that is what we are discussing right now. So more conducive environment for him internally, because the prarabdha itself, the very prarabdha, the very next, taking the next janma itself exhaust some of the prarabdha, some of the obstacle, because the obstacle could be in form of a prarabdha also, could be some karmas which has generated certain adrushta, that will go away just by taking birth. And that is the example is Vamadeva. Just birth. Yeah. There are many. And I will give you the example later. We refer even in Bhagavad Gita also. But anyway, so this is we were discussing pratibandhas are of three types: Bhuta Pratibandha, Vartamana Pratibandha, Bhavi Pratibandha. And lastly we discussed Bhavi Pratibandha, called Agami Pratibandha also, in verse 45 and 46. Right? In 45 we discussed how a single karma in this prarabdha, in this life, can give rise to several janmas next. It works as an obstacle. Means the jnanam will not take place. Just to exhaust the prarabdha, the karma is so big. It generated so much papam. To exhaust, you require several janmas, and you have to face in that different. But this thing will remain away from you. And anyway, so that we discussed. And then in verse 46 also, well, it very nicely it is said, Yoga Brashtasya Pratibandhakshayah Proktaha Gitayam. In the Bhagavad Gita also, then they started talking about that. In Bhagavad Gita also, what I am saying is there, that Pratibandhakshaya takes place in next life. So that is possible. So Yoga Brashtasya, one who has this Jnana Bhasa, who has just information. So yoga means here Jnanam. Yoga Brashta means Jnana Brashta. Brashta means slipping away from this knowledge. Yeah, means not able to accept it as a fact. That's it. You may be exposed, not that slipping away means you are not exposed to knowledge. No, you are exposed to knowledge, you understand, you continuously attend classes, but somehow you are not able to accept that this is I am Brahman. You are not able to accept. So that is Pratibandha. So it is called, and such a person, this prarabdha gets over, we call it as a Yoga Brashta. So the Yoga Brashtasya, when the person who has a Jnanam with Pratibandha, we can say, Sapratibandha Jnanam. So Pratibandha Kshayaha Proktaha. Well, this exhaustion of the obstacle is said in Bhagavad Gita, and it will obstacle, this exhaustion of obstacle in which life? Well, Bahujanmani, we don't know. So it is Bahujanmani in a many janmas also maybe possible. Bahujanmani Pratibandhakshayaha. Atite Bahujanmani, next few janmas. So means in future he will definitely gain Jnanam. His information about Aham Brahmasmi turns to knowledge. He will accept that I am Brahman, etc. But then what about current Janma's homework? Well, nothing to worry. Vicharaha anarthakaha na bhavati. The inquiry, Mahavakya Vicharaha, the analysis into Mahavakya, inquiry into Mahavakya will not be waste, will not be futile, definitely. So you will start in next Janma from where you have left in this Janma. And that is where Bhagavad Gita is very, the quotation of Bhagavad Gita is very, very useful. So verse 47, we will have to see. And here you can see now in 47, Prapya Punya Kritan Lokan, we have in Bhagavad Gita, and it is Ushitva Shashwati Samaha. Shashwatihi and then Samaha. Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Bhi Jayate. Here it is Sabhilasho Bhi Jayate. So that's the difference only. And that in Bhagavad Gita it is verse number 41. So that's what he is doing now. Verse 41 to 45 of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6. He is quoting here in 4 verses, 47 to 50. So it's not exactly, verbatim. It is some modifications are there here and there. So as a result of this, this byproduct of, in terms of this punya, etc. So that is being said here. Prapya punya kritan lokan. Before I go into that, I would like to give you the reference in Bhagavad Gita itself in chapter 18, verse number 71. Shraddhavanana suyasya shunuyadapi yonarah sopi mukta subhan lokan prapnuyat punya karmana. Bhagavan said. So, actually what happens is when you do this listening of Mahavakya, etc., that Mahavakya is there even in Bhagavad Gita also, or in Upanishad, or some other text, anywhere. You listen to Mahavakya itself will generate punya. It's a byproduct. Mahavakya, analysis of Mahavakya will definitely give you jnana and moksha, jivan mukti. But if it doesn't give that main phalam, main result, at least it will give you punya. So Bhagavan says, Shraddhavan anasuyasya. One who listens to the scripture, Shastra, with a Shraddha, and anasuyasya. Your attitude is not to find a fault with. Anasuya means this. The person who doesn't find a fault is anasuya. Then shrunuyadapi yo naraha, yah naraha shrunuyat api. Even if he listens to this Shastra and he doesn't understand, still sopi muktaha san. That person also will be mukta. Mukta means here he, not that moksha, but that person definitely living this body. Mukta means from this body he becomes free. Means prarabdha is over. Shubhan lokan prapnuyat. He will gain auspicious worlds. Of which world? Punya karmana. So person who has done certain rituals, etc., Agnihotra, and gained that auspicious world, that world this person also gains. Yeah, amazing. Lastly, just about before the Bhagavan gave microphone to this Sanjaya, then before that, so then Sanjaya says, and then Arjuna says something, etc. That's it. Just before that, at the end, Bhagavan says this. So this indicates definitely Prapya Punya Kritan Lokan. Well, definitely Atma Vicharatah. That person, as a result of Atma Vichara, he has been exposed and he is doing Shravanam, Mananam, etc. But somehow he did not break through. He did not crack. They say exams, they're cracking the exams. So he is not able to crack, let's say. Nothing to worry. Prapya punya kritan lokan. He will gain soga, etc. Afterwards, what will happen? That also it is said here. Well, and how many? There it is Ushitva. In the Bhagavad Gita, Ushitva Shashwatihi Samaha. Ushitva means it is from the Vas dhatu. Vas means to live. It's an indeclinable past passive participle. Having lived, Shashwatihi Samaha. Countless years. Samaha means varshani, years. Shashwatihi Samaha. Countless years he will live in this punya loka, auspicious world. And then what happens? Well, he has to come back, right? Brahma Bhuvana Loka. Anyway, he has to come back to this Manushya Loka. Well, he will come back. But he definitely gains a special janma. Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashtaha Vijayate. This Jnana Brashta, the person who has slipped away from the knowledge, well, who has been exposed, Atma Vicharataha, he has been exposed to that, but he did not, he was not successful in gaining this knowledge due to Pratibandha. Well, definitely, that person, Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe. Shuchi. Here, Shuchi means one who has a family. Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe, Grihe. in the house of a people who are morally pure. Yeah, here is that sense. So morally pure, dharmikas, who are very religious. Ah, the indication of a religious life is a moral purity. If it is not there, it is then it is how people condemn religion and all, because people behave in such a way. One side they are doing a lot of japa and these and that, and on other side their behavior to the other people and all is so much disgusting. So people are not just people are not just fed up of these people, but people are fed up of the religion, because these people live such a life. But and on one side all this they're going to temples and these and that and donations and everywhere, and the second on the other side all tax chori, lot of dishonesty and all that. Purity. Shrimatam, so wealthy people, yet purity. Shuchinam Shrimatam, Gehe. In the house of, in the family of this Shrimatam, wealthy people, prosperity, etc. And but why Bhagavan should give give a birth in such a wealthy family? He gets spoiled. No, yoga prashta. Please understand. But then why? Why there? Well, he can do Panchamaha right? He can do some offerings in the world, he can reach out to the world. So, possible. It's all possible to remove obstacles. So, Bhagavan gives accordingly. This is a very big thing. So, generally, Srimatam will be goes with that club culture and other things, and anyway, club culture and race course culture. But this person is born in such a family. There are people, wealthy people, yet morally pure people. So there, sabhilashaha vijayate, abhilasha. Abhilashena sahavartate iti sabhilashaha. That person is called sabhilashaha. That person, has a desire for the moksha. Naturally, but he could not break through in the past life. He has a purvajanma vasana. He has a jignasa to gain jnanam and moksha. Such a person is called sabhilasha. And that person is born in this kind of family. Shuchinam Shivatam Gehe. So, here sabhilasha is a saharthe bahuri. Abhilashena saha vartate saha sabhilasha. Verse 48. अथवा योगिनामेव कुले भवति धीमतां निस्पृहो तत् ब्रह्मतत्त्वस्य विचारात् तद्धि दुर्लभम्. अथवा, such a yoga brashta who has done atma vichara etc., mahavakya vichara etc., can be born in this kind of a family, or where? Another possibility with respect to this yoga brashta was this pratibandha, Jnanabhasa, etc. So, Brahma Tattvasya Vicharatah. Earlier it said Atma Tattva Vicharatah. Now here he says Brahma Tattva Vicharatah. As a result of this Shravana Manana, etc., of the Mahavakya, etc., is done, but unsuccessful. So, definitely, still that byproduct will be definitely there. Going to that Loka, Ushitva Shashvati Sama, that will remain. That will be there. But now, instead of getting birth in that Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe, instead of that kind of family, he is born somewhere else. More conducive janma actually, compared to even the first one. Yeah, that's how Etadhi Durlabhataram Bhagavan is going to say. Yoginam Dhimatam Kule. Well, he is born to a Gnani parents. Well, amazing. But Swamiji, if they are Gnani, why should they marry? Don't think about that. The people, both of them are studying, husband and wife. Initial years of the marriage itself, after that they may have a common interest. And they both study. They have a child also simultaneously, but they suppose both gain jnana because of their purvajanma, punya and vasanas, etc. Then the child is really now, getting a childhood and other number of very, very determining years in this family. So, yoginam dhimatam. So, well, definitely such a person. Who is this person? Nispruha. This yoga prashta is called here Nispruha. Nispruha means, well, with total detachment in early childhood itself. So generally youngsters means definitely arthakama pradhana, but this person has no interest in these material goals. So earlier Sabilashaha said, here Nispruha. Sabilashaha means who has a mokshecha. Definitely, and he has a jignasa, etc., indicates he has no material goals as a priority. But instead of he says here Nispruha, who is detached, well, definitely for the material goals, not detached from the moksha. So, so yoga prashta, who is nispruha, brahma tattvasya vicharat, well, abhijayate we have to add everywhere. Vicharat tadhi durlabhataram, tadhi durlabham. So here, well, a little change you can understand here. The second line is quite different in 48. Athva yoginam eva kule bhavati dhit matam, that's there in verse 42. But then etadhi durlabhataram loke janme yadi drisham. Instead, here it is nispruha brahma tattvasya vicharat tadhi durlabham, etc. So, a rare janma. This is a really rare janma where the parents himself are jnanis, etc. Because he need not have to go for in search of a teacher, etc. They are right there in the home. Verse 49. Tatra tam buddhi sanyogam labate paurvadehikam yatate cha tato bhuyah tasmade tadhi durlabham. So here in verse 49 you can see the verse only the fourth quarter is changed. So here Tatratam Buddhi Sanyogam, verse 43 in the chapter 6, Tatratam Buddhi Sanyogam Labhate Paurvadehikam Yatate cha tato bhuyah. Tato, that is there. But afterwards it is Tasmadetadhi Durlabham. In Bhagavad Gita it is Samsiddhau Kurunandana, etc. So that's a change, fourth quarter. In verse 48 the second line is changed. In this verse 49 there is a change from verse 43 is only in terms of a fourth quarter. Tatra means in that new life, new janma. This such a yoga brashta, well, this person, tam buddhi sanyogam, this is most important verse. Tatra tam buddhi sanyogam. So in that janma, well, he remembers. Buddhi sanyogam means connection to the buddhi, connection to the knowledge which he gained in the past life. Buddhi sanyogam, well, so it means he remembers. He doesn't remember everything clearly. What kind of, with what teacher I studied and what are the texts I studied and with a bhashyam, without bhashyam, not that. But in general, he remembers. So when you come across this thing in new life, you feel you are already knowing, as if it is very familiar to you. Yeah, that's what we discussed also last time. So Tattradam, and this is happening everywhere. Professor Soborno Isaac Bari, 6-year-old professor, he is considered as a god of algorithms. All top universities in the America are recognized. They recognize him. They invite him for lectures. 7-year-old. I think it's from 4th, 5th year or onwards only. Now I think he is 8-year or 9-year-old. And he has been awarded a PhD degrees and these and that. He goes to Harvard and these and that. Everywhere. Professor Soborno Isaac Bari. So Professor Bari's lab is a YouTube channel for him. It's amazing. And the way he talks, not just algorithm. He delivered a PhD address in South Africa. You should listen. He has so much, his intellect is of some mature person. Amazing person. And his height is just 3 feet. he's a origin, Indian, Bangladesh origin or something, I think, Asian. And he's really a genius. So this how Buddhi Sanyogam. So this is happening everywhere. In Coimbatore, we saw a 3-year-old girl who sang in front of Puja Swamiji. All Carnatic ragas and everything with all their nuances and some subdivisions and all. And she recognized all kinds of ragas. 3-year-old. In presence of us and Puja Swamiji, she sang. 3 year. Music. Music prodigies are so many. Several prodigies are there. And in field of science, maybe in other fields also, we don't know. So this applies to everywhere, in fact. But we are talking about self-knowledge here. So, well, definitely, Tam Buddhi Sanyog, well, he remembers, well, he has studied in this Yoga Brashta remembers what he has studied in Purva Janma, partially, general. And so we have to now connect with verse 46, the fourth quarter. Vicharopi na anarthakah bhavati. If you inquire into Mahavakya, if whatever you study here right now, whatever homework you do, na anarthaka, will not go waste. That is how we have to understand. Therefore, never we should lose a day. This is my earnest request to all of you. We are by default we are in contact with this, but you people also, whether classes are there or not, but you should remain in contact with the Shastra on a daily basis, listening to something here or there, readings, whatever, discussion, whatever. So definitely, so this is very important, because anything what we are studying goes waste. It may be including your study of also Sanskrit. Please understand. You may feel that this is just regarding self-knowledge. I have told you about this algorithms. Any field, whatever you study, definitely will remain with you. And if you are studying with a commitment, etc., that thing will manifest. That connection manifest in the next life. So definitely. So labhate paurvadehikam. Buddhi sanyogam labhate. He gains that connection with the previous life's homework. Paurvadehikam labhate. Paurvadehikam buddhi sanyogam. So Paurvadehikam means in Purva Janma, Purva Deha. So Purvadeha Sambaddham Paurvadehikam. Adhyatma Sambaddham Adhyatmikam. Purvadeha Sambaddham Paurvadehikam. Purva Janma Sambaddham. This is a Taddhita. You make a word from a word. So Adhyatma is a word. You make another word, Adhyatmikam. So that's why Taddhita affix you apply and make it. So anyway, so this is Tato Bhuya. And therefore, and what will happen then in new life? If you get a connection, Tatecha Tato Bhuya, well, definitely he puts forth more and more efforts from where he left in a previous Janma. And that is how sometimes it happens that at the age of 7 itself, you feel that you should take a sannyasa. At the age of 7, person just walks up from the home, Ramana Maharshi, etc. So from Brahmacharya Ashrama to sannyasa, Swamiji, that is avaidika. That's a discussion in Brahma Sutra. All the sannyasis are avaidikas. That's really like, it looks like that actually. And therefore, one should not keep in contact with any sannyasi like that. That was a Purva-paksha. No. From Brahmacharya Ashrama direct to sannyasa. Then in Jabala Upanishad, there are other things. Well, the quotations are there. And in Chandogya also it is there. That the Brahmachari, taking the Brahmacharya Diksha, then well definitely stays in Gurukulam and gains Jnanam and sannyasa, etc. And the person who takes a sannyasa from Brahmacharya Ashrama, he himself cannot explain why he is doing what he is doing. I'm telling you, what he is doing, for that you ask why you are doing, he is not able to answer. He says, but this is what I like, this is what I want to do. That's it. So there is, because it's a Paurvadehikam, definitely. So there is no violation of law, etc. And he strives more. Tasmat. So, etad durlabham. Such janma is rare and difficult. So means either Yoga Brashta, Jnana Brashta can be born in both, either Shuchinam Shrimatam or yoginam dhimatam kule. Shuchinam Shrimatam Kule, Yoginam Dhimatam Kule. Either. But Yoginam Dhimatam Kule, that birth is rare, Durlabhataram. So that itself is such a to gain such a life is Durlabha, but in this between these two also, this one is very rare. In Yoginam Dhimatam Kule. Janma. Verse 50. पूर्वाभ्यासेन तेनैव ह्रीयते ह्यवशोऽपि सः अनेकजन्मसंसिद्धः ततो याति परां गतिम्. He connects my. So you can see here in the verse 43. So I'm sorry, verse 44. Purvabhyasena tenaiva hriyate hyavashopi saha. There it is Jignasurapi yogasya shabda brahmati vartate. And he writes here anek janma samsiddha tato yati param gating. From verse 45, second line, and 44, first line. Like that he combines. One Acharya says, let our conventional, traditional recipes are there, traditional items are there. You change 2 or 3 ingredients, add some new ingredients and say this is a new dish. this is that kind of a thing. So he has made as a new verse, combining first line of 44 and second line of 45th verse of Bhagavad Gita. He has made it verse 50. So this is how it is. So avashaha api saha yoga brashtaha api, this person definitely finds his desire for moksha. Well, it's are not born of his will. From the beginning itself, he has a typical interest, and it looks he is an odd man out. Actually, a odd man. All children are playing and doing this, and this person is doing something else. And even at the young age also, and after people go for arthakama etc. This person does some japa etc. and doing this and studying this and etc. Looks very odd actually, but why he is doing, his parents also are not able to tell, and he is also not able to tell, or she is not able to tell. So definitely he does not deliberately will to have detachment towards worldly goal etc. But to get attraction to any moksha etc. This kind of a study etc. Also he has no will. So naturally he finds that he has this tendency. So as if some force basically is pushing him desperately to the spirituality etc. And in that all of us we should consider. I'm saying not that someone, you should not think some Swami or somebody, but all of us, where we are really odd men out. You look in the world, people are running here and there, and we are just sitting and taking a cup of coffee and listening and studying. It looks very ordinary, but it's not ordinary. So much of your punya, so much of your homework of so many janmas really is right now this is fructified, in this form. And because you or me are not able to explain what we are doing, why we are doing what we are doing, really speaking. And that shows one thing. Because our actions could be either will based or a vasana based. Either. Initially it is will based. In initial life of anybody, it is always will based. But once you undergo certain experiences, then have impressions, etc., then that thing only governs. So then later part, your free will is not really free. The vasana is a big pressure. So that's how a habitual life. Vasana means creates a habit. That only will govern the life. So old age people, that's how they say. We sometimes advise to old people, hey, you should not do this. This looks a very childish and all. But he is helpless. He cannot come out of this habit now, whatever habit it may. To a young person you can say, you drop this habit, that's not good, etc. And he can drop. So will is very powerful. Later will is very weak. Vasana is very strong. And that's how Bhagavan tells in the 8th chapter, take advantage of this. This is the order. Take advantage. And therefore, if you have built up a good vasana in your life by leading a religious life, then at the end of the life, well, definitely that thing only will manifest, because at the end moment there is no will. So because of vasana only manifests something in the mind, like our whole spirit, whole dream world just manifest out of vasana, same way. So that's how in the 8th chapter very beautifully discussed there that this the person gains a next janma in a Brahmaloka, etc., because of his upasana of Ishvara throughout the life. So he has that vasana. Anyway, so that is just by the way. But here, so basically, this person is doing, because these vasanas are there of Purva Janma, he has studied and all this, and therefore that is how this life, well, his free will is governed with this, and he does the actions based on, I mean, choosing based on the spiritual life. And even bad vasana, for that also Bhagavan gave the example. Athakena prayuktoyam, I mean, Bhagavan said that Athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha, that is fine. Then anichanapi varshneya balat iva niyojitaha. Anichanapi, he doesn't want, but he doesn't know. Athakena prayuktaha, ayam purushaha athakena prayuktaha. How this person is driven to such a particular, in a particular direction. Papam charati purusha, and commits a lot of sin. Anichanapi, even he doesn't want. Baladiva niyojita, well, by force he is doing many papas, etc. in this. So that shows even bad vasanas also will be there. But here in our case it is good vasana. Purujanma vasana definitely helplessly pushes the person. And sometimes parents have a very hard time. Yeah, parents have a hard time. Parents, when this person is studying in the home, not doing anything, and the parents ask, what are you doing? What are you reading? He says, I am reading Kenopanishad. Hey, what is this? Especially here. What is this? Suppose I'm American. What is this? What are you studying? Kenopanishad. What is that Kenopanishad? Well, that is a Upanishad talks about the self. Oh, means what? You are getting self-knowledge. For what? Don't you know yourself? No, I really don't know myself. Well, and this is, then why are you studying all this? Well, I am studying for moksha. Then parents look at each other as though husband is telling to wife that this is because of you. And wife is telling to the husband that this is because of you. Ultimately. So, very helpless situation for the parents. And sometimes they pressurize. In India, they do this. I know some example. Live examples are there. Before 30 years. Person was pressurized to marry. And you can understand what would be the marriage life. You know very well. Within few years, both lived independent of each other. The divorce was not in those days, not that much, socially it was not, it is unacceptable, etc. So, but they lived. She came back to the parents' house. She was interested in very much there, but the parents forced her to marry. So she married within, I think, 3 years, 2 or 3 years. In that also there she was not happy, but she returned. One other girl, she is Swamini also now. I should not say the name, but she is Swamini now somewhere in India. So this is how it happens. So yoga, so tenaiva purvabhyasena. So tenaiva means when this person, purvabhyasena means purvajanma abhyasa, purvajanma vasana, etc., spiritual vasanas, etc., this gnanam, etc., he has gained, exposure is there. Tenaiva, because of that, avashaha, helplessly, well, this person, tenaiva kriyate, he is led by that. He is forced to go in that direction. So any kashaya vastra, well, he will be attracted to that. Yeah. So because of this spiritual vasana gathered in several Puru Janmas, Aneka Janma Samsiddha, definitely. So that's how I was telling you. Right now, even if someone tells you that leave the Vedanta, study, etc., and you cannot imagine in your life, I'm telling you. I'm talking about you, forget about me. I'm talking about you. If someone tells you just leave this study, this is all useless and all, you cannot imagine your life without Vedanta now. This is your situation. My situation also, but I'm just saying, yeah. So that is Aneka Janma Samsiddha. In this life also you have done a lot of investment, but Aneka Janma Samsiddha. Definitely being qualified in several Janmas. Tatah, thereafter, Param Gatim Yati. He gains Jnanam. From Jnana Bhasa to Jnanam, the marga is very short. From Ajnanam to Jnanam is a long, very long. Ajnanam to Jnana Bhasa also will be there, and Jnana Bhasa to Jnanam. But definitely, each Janma exhaust Pratibandha, karmas, etc. In Vamadeva's case, we saw it is a small obstacle. Just by taking Janma, it has gone. And such a people, Yoga Brashtas, whenever suppose in a new life they gain teaching from some teacher because of their homework of the previous lives, they immediately pick up. And then the teachers definitely gain all the praise that they have this kind of students who are really Brahmanishta, etc. So teacher will be praised, teacher will have a glories all if he gains such a kind of a students who are Yoga Brashta. Verse 51. Brahmalokavivanchayam samyak satyam nirudhyatam vicharayedya atmanam natu sakshat karotyayam. Now he talks about some other possibilities of a Kramamukti well in 2 verses. All verses basically are, under this Agami Pratibandha. Earlier we talked about Agami Pratibandha, not in terms of a Krama Mukti, etc., but how Agami Pratibandha gives rise to new Janmas, and ultimately, while the person, after many Janmas being qualified, ultimately that Jnana Bhasa turns to Jnanam, etc. But with regard to Krama Mukti also this is there. And that is how there is always, Karma Mukti comes means Brahmaloka will come. And there are several issues. Because in the chapter 8, there is a contradiction. It's apparent contradiction. Earlier Bhagavan says, Abrahma Bhuvanan Lokaha Punaravartinaha Arjuna, etc. And then later, well, he says, let me just see, 1 minute. Yeah. Verse 26 or something. He says, verse 26, yes. Shukla Krishne gati hete jagata shashvate mate ekaya yatyana anyaya vartate punaha. One who goes through the Shukla Marga, Brahmaloka, anavrittim, ekaya yati anavrittim. He will never return. This is Karma Mukti. And one who goes through Krishna Marga, will definitely return, is going to Swarga, etc., will return. And Bhagavan earlier said, Abrahma Bhuvanan Lokaha Punaravartinaha, up to Brahma Loka. A stands for up to. Up to, in English, indicates both, including or excluding. Swamiji, up to what? Well, I am here up to 4th of December in the ashram. Means including 4th of December or excluding 4th of December. Both possibilities. So I have to say, well, including 4th December. Could you follow? So, in same way in Sanskrit also, A stands for including or excluding. A Brahma Bhuvanan Lokaha, Bhashyakara says including Brahma Loka. One who goes to Brahma Loka, well, Brahma Loka itself is Punaravarti, but one who goes to Brahma Loka definitely, he will return. And here in verse 26, in the same chapter, Bhagavan says one who goes through Shukla Marga, goes to Brahma Loka, does not return. And Bhashyakara did not mention anything Bhashyakara has not, in Bhashyam if you see, he has not mentioned. But one Tikakara said that it is possible. Both are possible. Going to Brahmaloka and returning, possible. Going to Brahmaloka, gaining knowledge from Brahmaji and gaining Mukti. Krama, we call Krama Mukti, is also possible. Both are possible. How? He says, ultimately Brahmaloka through Upasana, Saguna Brahma Dhyanam, Upasana, that's how 8th chapter, Omkar Dhyanam, etc. So, well, if you do Ishwar Upasana in terms of a Daharakash Upasana in the Chandogya, that kind of Upasana where you meditate on Ishvara, well, in the heart, which is called Dahara. And Daharakasha means there is a space, a thumb-like space of that dimension in the heart. Well, that is where Ishvara manifests. So you do meditation in a Daharakasha. So, well, maybe that Akasha, the space which is there, enclosed space within the heart, that is the Ishvara. That's how you meditate upon Ishvara. Well, then those people will go to Brahmaloka, definitely, and gain jnana, and they will not read. They will remain as a mukta. They will remain till the Brahmaloka is there, and then when Brahmaloka also in Mahapralaya, etc., will resolve, they also, along with the Brahmaji, they also gain Videya Mukti. So this is how it is. And the people who do Panchagni Vidya, Panchagni Upasana, Panchagni Vidya is also there in 5th chapter of Chandogya. Other places also there in other Upanishad, but here in 5th chapter. There also, well, Panchagni Vidya Upasana, who does that Upasaka will go to Shukla Marga, and it shows that that person is led by this Devata up to this. Then other Devata comes. Then he leads, that Devata leads his Marga up to a certain point. Then he leads. And like that, lastly, Amanavaha, the person who is not in a human form actually, comes and takes him to Brahmaloka. Like that whole narration is there. So, well, one who does this Panchagni Vidya Upasana gains Brahmaloka, but he will return. So that's how we resolve this contradiction. Otherwise, in a verse of 16 or 17, Brahma Bhuvana Loka, etc., well, it is said, 17th verse maybe, I think, or 16th. It is said that return. And 26 says, no return. Well, both we have to accept. So regarding Krama Mukti, there are so many issues. Anyway, but here he discusses this Krama Mukti, and definitely now we have to see this. Let me build something before I talk about, I go into the verse. What happens is, suppose you, you are doing a Upasana, basically Upasana is some means. We call it as the Arat Upakarakam. Arat Upakarakam means that is also means of liberation, but it is indirect means. Arat means actually at a distance, means indirectly. So Upasana and Karma Yoga, both are the means for moksha. Karma Yoga, well, definitely helps you by removing impurities in the mind in terms of raga, dvesha, etc. And Upasana helps you for making your mind capable of absorption. Mind has a absorption capacity, but that you will have to, it has to manifest. So Upasana helps you in gaining a mind with absorption capacity. And that is, therefore, Upasana has been discussed all the time in Upanishads also. Bhagavan also discussed the chapter 7 to 12 is a Upasana actually. So that's how Acharya says the first 6 chapter Karma Yoga, the next 6 chapter Upasana, and the last 6 Jnana Yoga. That is how some Acharyas divide. Whatever it is, but the 6 chapters definitely is pertaining to Upasana. Even the Bhakti Yoga is nothing but Saguna Brahma Upasana. Arjuna's question itself is regarding who is greater, who is better. The Saguna Brahma Upasaka is better, who is doing this Vishwarupa Upasana. The 11th chapter was over. One who does this Saguna Brahma Upasana, Virat Upasana is better, or the person who pursues this knowledge, doing Shravana Manana, etc., and pursuing Nirguna Brahma is better. Who is better? And then Bhagavan replied, etc. So that's called Bhakti Yoga. But that is Upasana, Saguna Brahma Upasana. 7th chapter also talks about it. 8th chapter is a little odd in that. So odd in terms of here, Omkar, Upasana, etc. is there. And the person just do this Upasana, Saguna Brahma Upasana, and his Prarabdha is over. And so either he was not inclined to gain knowledge, either inclination was there, but there was because of some other obstacles he didn't get the teacher, etc. Or somehow, or he wanted Brahmaloka. Suppose he wanted it to go to Brahmaloka. Either way. So Pratibandha is there. The person has a Pratibandha, definitely. And such a person does Upasana, etc., then definitely goes to Brahmaloka through Shukla Marga, etc. So that's how 2 Margas also has been discussed. So that is how here he brings now Krama Mukti. Because some Pratibandha must be there. So Agami Pratibandha will be there. So this is again verse 51 and 52. Both talks about only Agami Pratibandha with respect to this Karma Mukti, etc. Anyway, suppose there is a person and whose detachment is not is incomplete. Well, so Vedantas, so somehow you give a priority to the things which you should not give. That's the thing. And priority to the things means what? Priority compared to giving a priority to the self-knowledge, you give a priority of to improving. We have discussed this. Giving priorities to the all this kind of a non-self things, improving the non-self, like situation, like family, like your mind, like your intellect, like your body, or something else, like you or your wealth, something. So all the time your attention is for improving the non-self. And in such a kind of an attitude reveals, well, that you even suppose you are pursuing this knowledge and still this kind of an attitude is there, means what? You have not understood the anatma, etc., the non-self, as a mithya. So if you want to do a nishchaya of a anatma as a mithya, then you should not try to improve that. The very fact that you want to improve all these things reveal that that is real for you. So that itself becomes a obstacle. Because understanding mithyatvam of everything, and of course Atma is Satyam naturally as a dhishthanam of everything, definitely requires that you should not give over weightage to all these things. That shows that you feel that those things are there in your life, then you will gain the wholeness. Actually, you are whole. No improvement is necessary. So rather than focusing on this, as knowing this, well, you try to improve upon your surrounding, means or your body, mind, senses, family, wealth, this, that, etc. continuously. You, as a situation demand, and you do, that's another thing. But you somehow whatever is there you are not comfortable with, and you want to improve it. And by improving that thing, you ultimately want to feel good about yourself. And that goodness, actually, you are good, you are complete being, but it doesn't. So that is a big obstacle. We discussed this. Anatma mithyatva nishchaya is most important rather than improving this anatma, the situations and everything. That is not useful. That becomes a pratibandha. And then what happens, etc. We'll discuss this. The person goes to Brahmaloka and this, etc. Means he didn't gain knowledge here, etc. Then he goes to some other loka, gains knowledge there, and Kramamukti, etc. So we'll discuss. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.